Welcome, brother.
Roy from St. Louis.
Lebroy, what's up?
Right.
Brandon Maxwell, Florida. I'm in St. Augustine today.
Okay, welcome, brother.
Matt Strunk, El Paso, Texas.
Welcome, Matt.
You try to push it through.
Mark Store from LA.
Mark Stewart. Awesome, man. Loving the haircut, brother.
Thank you, thank you.
Jessica from the Bounty office.
What's up?
What?
Hi.
I think he's gonna reject it.
South Carolina.
Hi,
Shireen from Trinidad.
Welcome, Shireen. Okay.
Jonathan Franco
New York
from
City.
Fairfield, California.
Welcome.
I'm not showing that you pushed it through.
Johnny Cordova from SoCal.
Johnny, what's
What's
up?
up, Calvin?
Yeah,
Looking good already.
here. Just give it a second. Because I already sent it.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, a few more people. Okay, guys. So it's a Monday, right? So this is the way that we kickstart our week, right? So go ahead and take a moment to text everybody on your team, let them know that we're doing a training. Today is going to be pretty special. We're going to talk a little bit about more about attitude and mentality. So go ahead and again tell your rest of the team that, hey, you don't want to miss this training. Learn a lot today, right? And so then if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell us where you're coming from, please.
Good morning. This is Chris from Long Beach.
What's up, Chris?
What money factor are you trying to use?
I marked it up for basis.
Okay.
I know you marked it up full, but what's your money factor?
To help me be a co-host and admit people in, and also mute the ones that are not speaking.
And what's your residual?
Let's see.
It's Thomas and Juliana. What's up, everybody? It's JD from New York.
JD, what's up, bro?
You're right on all that. That is correct. All that is correct. So
I can't mute
I
this.
don't know why you have no problem pushing it back through.
Awesome. All right. Hey, JD, do you want to help me be a co-host as well?
I got you, bro. Sounds good.
Juan, can you make JD the co-host too, so that he can help me admit people
Sure.
in?
Yep, I'll let him.
Thank you. All right. Got one more minute, guys. Let's do some quick intros. The ones that do the intros are the ones that are not shy, and they're going to go out there to absolutely crush it, right? So you haven't done so already, introduce yourself, and then after a minute, then you just want to put that in the chat. All right? Who else?
JC, Los Angeles, California.
Oh, JC, I heard about this guy. Awesome. Thank you, JC.
Victoria from South Africa.
Ooh, South Africa. That's amazing. Welcome.
Solar Lou here, reporting from our
Thank
Tijuana
you.
headquarters.
Tijuana. Awesome. What's up, Lou?
Brenda
from Maryland.
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Nice, nice.
Francisco Mateos over here in California.
Okay, welcome, brother. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is go over the team affirmation. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Share screen. All right, guys, can anyone see this? Thumbs up if everyone see it. All right. All right, guys. So this is our, the things that we want to say every single day. Try to, remember this because, there's a saying that the more times you do certain things, it's going to, manifest in your world. And you want to make sure that you say this so many times that it gets planted into your subconscious, right? So let's go over the team freedom, sayings real quick. So number one is that repeat after me. You can unmute yourself too, right? I am a powerful solar professional.
I am a powerful solar professional.
Number two, I do business morally and ethically.
I do business morally and ethically.
I am successful, intelligent, and confident.
I am successful, intelligent, and confident.
I do not depend on luck or unrealistic possibilities.
I do not depend on luck or unrealistic possibilities.
Number five, I am making a positive impact in the world and in the lives of others.
I'm
I am making a positive impact in the world and in the lives of others.
I radiate with confidence and people feel that.
I radiate with confidence and people feel that.
Feel that.
I am building a renewable energy empire.
I'm building
a renewable energy empire.
Therefore, money comes easily and frequently and in increasing quantities.
Therefore, money comes easily and fully and increasing quantity.
Increasing quantity.
Oh, all right, everybody, unmute yourself and just say, "Ah, let's go!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Go! We gotta make sure that we're feeling positive, guys. Let's do it. Awesome, man. So today I will be the one doing your training. Super honored to be, having the spotlight to share a little bit about like what is it that we're doing here. Because here's the thing, guys.
You went on mute, Calvin.
Okay, thank you. I thought it'd be loud enough to make it unmute itself, right? But anyway, I was gonna tell you guys about, a quick background about myself before I get into the training, right? So who am I and what have I actually done and why am I here, right? So almost like 10 years ago, I went into, that's when I back in 2019, I graduated from UC Davis and I had a, economics background. And so for me is that I wanted to get myself into business because I felt that that was the best way for me to elevate myself, get better at public speaking, get better at communication, get better at just like being a business person and being a more rounded person. I was the person who was very shy, very awkward, didn't know how to make jokes, didn't know how to communicate with people. That was me, back in the days, right? So as soon as I graduated from college, I said that, hey, I'm just gonna find whatever job that I can get. And then I got myself into sales. And so then the first thing that I remember was that I hated it. How many of you guys got into sales before this industry? Raise your hand. Sales. All right, a few people. All right. So if you were in sales, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but I did. In the beginning, I just did not like it whatsoever. I felt that this was way out of my comfort zone and I just didn't like it. But then I had a mentor come into my life and, he's helped me a lot in my previous ventures and he's taught me so many different things. But one thing that he would always say to me is that, hey, you could write this down too, right? Is that, hey, people who are successful, they either do two things. They either do things that people cannot do themselves or they're not willing to do. For example, how many of you guys can dunk a basketball? You can put in the chat, right? If you guys can dunk a basketball, let me know. Who here can dunk? Okay, okay, I see Idris, all right, Idris can dunk. All right, who else can dunk? I don't see anybody else. All right, well, here's the thing. That means that, okay, so Chris is one of them, like, I cannot dunk, right? So if we said that, hey, let's all get into, playing basketball here and get really good at this, there's only a few people here that will succeed because we just don't have the genetics to go ahead and dunk, right? You can practice all you want, but if you're like, 5'5", or lower, it's really hard for you to, dunk, right? It's possible for some people, but reality is that, you just have to be built differently, right? Or you can do things that most people aren't willing to do. That's another way to succeed. How many people would want to like grind every single day, work many hours a day with no pay, but then later on get paid so much more compared to everybody else, right? Not a lot of people will do these kind of things. So what I'm going to focus on today is talk about certain things that you can do, that anybody can do, right? So what do I mean by that is this.
Recording in progress.
There's a difference between, number one, the first thing I want to talk about, I'm going to share my screen, is skill versus will. All right, let me go ahead and share this real quick. All right. Can everybody see my screen paint? Yes? Okay, cool. All right, so write this down. So the first thing you have over here is skill versus will. All right, skill versus will. Skill is something that you will develop, over time. whether that's playing basketball, whether that's getting good at selling solar, whether that's good at recruiting, whether that's good at closing deals, whatever the case may be, okay? So I want you guys to play along here. Let's just say that we give these gradings over here. This is an A, got this B, C, D, and let's just say F, right? And same thing over here, A, B, C, D, and F. Okay, so I'm gonna need some participation here, okay? So who wants to be my participant? Unmute yourself, tell me your name, and then we'll get started. Any volunteers?
Lou, I volunteer.
Okay, I heard Lou first. Okay, Lou, let's just say that, okay, in terms of, you know, closing skills, let's say, right? So if you were to close, let's just say like the topic here is closing skills and how well can you close somebody, right? Where would you say that you're at right now in terms of skill level? And you can be honest, right? We're not like, we just want to be using this as an example. So when you first came into our business, closing a solar deal, how comfortable were you? Like when you said, hey, this is my skill set in closing, where would you grade yourself?
When I first came in, I would have definitely gave myself a D.
Okay, so Lou said that he started out with as a D over here, okay? Now, when you first start coming in, obviously you were excited about this and you said that, hey, I wanted to learn this, that's why I'm here. I'm not that good at it yet. But why did you decide to come in, and what made you excited?
The opportunity.
The opportunity, okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say that will is your ability, your desire to succeed and your desire to win. So when you came in, at first, where was your will? Like, how excited were you? A, B, C, D, E, F, or F?
I would definitely say C because I thought it was too good to be true.
Okay, C. So let's just say that if this is where your case over here, right? And this is also A, B, C, D, right? If we were to draw a line through here, look, here's the thing. Your average grade over here will be like, let's just say like a D plus or a C minus, right? What if you came in here, you were super excited about this, you didn't know anything about solar, yet you see other people succeeding. You see like a Jabari, you see like an Idris, you see like, you know, Chris McHenry just like absolutely going out there, crushing it, Tony and all these other people as well too, right? You see like, oh, wow, these guys are able to make so much, right? I'm not there yet, but I'm excited about this. So let's just say that if you came in and you started with an attitude or desire to win and you had an A, okay? If you had an A and you started as a D in skill, let's draw a line over here now. Ah, see what happened? This is like a C plus over here or a B minus. So the thing is this, guys, is that even if you are bad in the very beginning, because I was pretty bad, right? I wasn't the best at my previous ventures. I wasn't the best at closing. I wasn't the best at training. I wasn't the best at anything. But one thing that I did have over many people was my desire to learn. Right? Think of it as, okay, let's not say closing, right? Let's just say like riding a bicycle, for example. The first time everybody rode a bicycle, we're all pretty bad at it, right? We kept falling, and then for me, I was crying. But one thing that I did learn was that, hey, I see other people doing it, and I eventually want to be able to ride with no, with no handles, right? Just riding with my feet. So then the desire to learn, if your desire is very high, you're going to do really well in the beginning. So even if you have like an F, for example, like you are just like the bottom, like let's just say you're the worst closer ever. But if you have an A in terms of will, again, you're still going to be like around a C average. What tends to happen is this, guys. What tends to happen is that when someone gets pretty good, let's just say they move from like a D, like Lou moves from like a D to a B, right? Now he's getting like, pretty good at this. Lou is saying, hey, you know what? I just closed a few deals. I just helped mentor a few people's, projects. I'm feeling pretty good. But let's just say that we say that, okay, now his skill improved in like, a month or whatever it is, right? His skill upgraded. He's been practicing, he's been coming to trainings and all that. But, the thing is that he's still, let's just say his will went down. Now he's not coming. Now he's saying, okay, I don't need to learn all this stuff because I'm getting pretty good at it. Maybe I shouldn't come to trainings. Maybe I should just like relax a little bit. I'm doing pretty well. So now we draw another line over here. And as you can see, if you cross these lines, this is your average grade over here. Notice how like even though his skill went up, but his will went down, it's still the same grade. So what you want to do, guys, is like you want to always improve your skill because everyone's skills can be different, but eventually we get to a higher level to like a B or an A, but you want to keep, you know, your will at the highest level over here. So that way you can still have an A or even like a B plus if your will is really strong. That's why it's important to keep coming to these trainings and continue to learn, right? So skill versus will, very, very powerful. Okay. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is never trade your time for a paycheck. Never trade your time for a paycheck. And this is what my mentor told me. He said, Calvin, I know you're in your 20s right now. I know you're going out there knocking on doors. By the way, that's what I was doing, right? So the sales that I was doing was door to door. I did that for about 10 plus years. Trained over like 500 plus people in T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. And then I had my own business doing that as well too. At the peak, I had about like 50 people on my team. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that. He always told me, Calvin, what you're doing here day in, day out, you're waking up at 5, coming here to the office at like 6:30, leaving the office at like 8 or whatever it is. You're doing all these extra work that might not seem like it's a lot right now, but I'm showing you that it's going to pay off. Why? Because you're not just coming here to trade your time for a paycheck. The ones that come in to trade for time for a paycheck are the ones that are not going to excel, you know, too fast. And I hate to break it to you, but that's the truth. But he said, hey, if you're coming in here because you don't have the necessary skills yet, it's okay. Just make sure that you are learning. What are you gaining from this? What type of information are you gaining on a day-to-day basis that's going to make you better? That's going to make Don better. That's going to make Johnny better or Joe better, right? Brenda, whoever. So when you come into this business, there's so much value that you can actually add to yourself, but it's all up to you. How many of you guys went to college? Raise your hand. A lot of people went to college. Okay. Check this out. In college, do your professors actually care if you come to class or do your homework? Yes or no? No, they don't, right? For me, it was a big eye-opener because in high school, they always check your homework, they always check your attendance, always give you a grade. But once you get to college, you're like on your own. You're like, oh man, I get to do whatever I want. Wait, professor, you're not going to actually check my homework? You're not going to actually care if I come to class? You're like, nope, I don't care. I don't even care if you take the exam, right? So that's the same mentality that you need to have when you come to the real world, when you come to a business place like this, is that yes, people care. Your professors, your coach, your mentors, and your teachers are there to support you, but only for the students that want to be there. So write this down. You want to be a learn it all, right? A learn it all, not a know it all. Okay? Because if you're a know-it-all, yes, you might sometimes like hear the same information a few times, right? But then the thing is this, repetition is key. Repetition is key. How many of you guys can like, you know, brush your teeth or like tie your shoelaces without ever thinking? Hopefully everyone, all right? But the first time you did that, you had to think like, oh man, how do I tie this knot? How do I do all this stuff, right? Because it's new to you. But once it's not new anymore, you get it, then you're able to do that subconsciously. But the thing is, you have to keep on practicing, practice until you finally get it. And it's perfect practice. It's not just regular practice, right? So that's the thing. Now, the next thing, thank you. So the next thing I want to talk about is passion. How many of you guys ever heard about people saying, oh, that's my passion. This is what I've always wanted to do. Or someone says, hey, that's not really what I wanted to do. That's not my passion. How many of you guys ever hear people say that? Or if you said it yourself, raise your hand. Right? Someone says, that's not my passion. Well, this is one thing that one of my mentors actually told me as well too. He said, Calvin, passion is BS. He actually said, you know, the actual word, right? He's like, Calvin, passion is BS. You want to know why? I was like, why? He said, well, think of it this way. How many people are actually passionate about going to the gym? I said, maybe like half of them. He's like, well, okay, so Are people actually passionate about going to the gym, or are they passionate about actually getting the results that they want? Maybe getting like more fit, getting healthier, getting the six pack, right? And then I start to think, oh, you know what? You're probably right. Then he also went on to talk about, okay, let's talk about business owners. Someone that are they have a business like washing like adult diapers or whatever, or like a dry cleaner, right? He asked me, hey, do you really think that the owner of this business is passionate about washing like, you know, adult diapers or washing someone's clothes? Is that something that he's actually passionate about? And I said, well, I hope not. He's like, no way are they actually passionate about this. But they do this because it's a business. It allows them to have the life that they want for them and their family. So ask yourself, hey, if you're not passionate about this stuff, right, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be solar. It could be literally anything that you do on a daily basis, whether it's like taking care of your kids, whether it's like, you know, going to the gym, whether it's just like, you know, reading a book or whatever it is, right? Ask yourself, hey, passion really comes after you get the experience. So write that down, right? Passion comes once you get the experience. How many of you guys like doing stuff that you suck at? That you absolutely suck at? Think about the first thing that comes to mind, that where you're just terrible at it. Do you like doing that? No. Thank you, Chris. No, we don't. We don't like doing that. As human beings, we're like, oh man, we don't want to do that. But we love doing things that we're really good at, right? So one thing is this. When I was back in high school, this is a long time ago, I used to stutter quite a bit. I used to not be able to pronounce words. I used to have like a reading skill level of a second grader when I was like, you know, in sixth grade already. This is true, right? True story. You know, English was not my first language. It was Chinese. I speak Cantonese pretty fluently still, right? But I didn't have good reading skills or English. And so a lot of kids would make fun of me. They were like, oh, this guy can't say certain words. I remember like, you know, the word math. I can't say that. I have to say math with the F at the end, right? So all these different things. But guess what? Because I got so much ridicule, because so many people kept telling me that I can't do certain things, I decided to get really good at it. So then I ended up really liking writing essays. I love like eventually writing poems and like scripts and all these different things because I got really good at it, because I got passionate about that. I wasn't actually passionate about learning English, but I got passionate about improvement, the experience, getting the ability to do things that I normally wouldn't be able to do, right? So think about that for a second. Anytime that you think about doing something that's pretty hard, ask yourself, hey, is this something I really want to do? Is this really my passion? And just remember, passion is just BS. It's something that you gain over time by doing something over and over again. And then finally you get really good at it. That's how you develop passion. That's how you develop like a businessman, mentality. That's how you become really good at whatever it is that you're doing, right? Okay. Next, I want to talk about a few things. I don't have the slides up, so you just have to bear with me. The next thing I want to talk about is time and money. How many of you guys wish you guys had more time and money? A lot of people, okay? But is time and money the only thing that you should be, conserving over, on a daily basis or whatever it is? No. One mentor of mine actually told me, hey, Calvin, you know what? I think there's something more important than time and money. I said, what is that? He said, have you ever thought about your energy? I said, my energy. He's like, yeah. Think about it this way. Let's just say that every single day that when you wake up, you have an energy tank of 100. 100% is your tank of energy. And throughout the day, when you face challenges, whether that's or obstacles, whether that's like traffic or negative people or rejection or bad weather, whatever the case may be, that stuff that can drain your energy, right? And let's just say by 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. or whatever it is, if you constantly let things drain your energy, you're gonna have nothing in the tank anymore after 3 or 4 p.m. And how productive would you be if you don't have any energy? Not that productive, right? So conserving your energy is one of the most important things that you can do as a successful person, because every time you see someone like a JC come on board, anytime you see like a Mr. Sam Bean come here, what does their energy level look like? Do you think is their energy level like at 50% or 25%, or does it feel like it's close to 100%? It's at the very top, exactly, right? So one thing, have you guys ever seen this, like, one film where this professor asks, hey, student, hold on to this water bottle, right? Hold on to this. And he said, hey, how much does that weigh? The student says, I don't know, like a few ounces. He said, okay, that's right. Is it heavy? She's like, no. And then the professor said, hey, don't keep holding on to this for not just like, 10 seconds, but for a minute. She holds it for a minute. Then the professor says, okay, how does it feel now? She's like, it's still feeling pretty good. Then she said, okay, cool. Now hold it for 5 minutes. And her eyes went like, what? 5 minutes? Are you sure? He's like, yeah, hold it for 5 minutes. And guess what happens after she held it for 5 minutes? Some of you guys are like laughing or smiling. Yeah, it starts to feel pretty heavy. So write this one down, right? When you guys deal with rejection or deal with any obstacles or deal with any negative things, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Ask yourself, how long am I actually holding on to that rejection, right? Because if I hold on to that if I hold on to my water bottle the entire day, that my arm is going to feel really sore and worn out, right? And so what you want to do is like when you get these rejections or obstacles, whatever, just imagine like, hey, it's going to happen, not just to you, but to everybody, right? All you can do is just put that obstacle down. Just put it down, set it down, forget about it, right? One thing that I remember that one of my mentors said to me is that, hey, Calvin, let me teach you something that to get you off, to be positive about this, because you seem like a negative person. And I was a pretty negative person, right? I always thought about all the worst things that can happen, all these like, bad things that can happen to me or whatever it is. And he said, okay, this might actually help you out. Anything that doesn't matter to you in the next 5 years, do not spend more than 5 minutes on it or thinking about it. So I'll say that again. Anything that does not matter to you in the next 5 years, let's just say it has little importance or little effect on your life, don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. So if a person says, no, I don't want to go solar. No, I don't like you. Hey, no, solar's a scam or whatever, right? Instead of getting all riled up and getting very emotional about it, okay, you can. But like Tony Robbins always say, it's like, hey, it's okay to feel those emotions. We're not telling you to just be a stone wall and just be like, this person that just never has to worry about negative things. So no, stuff happens, right? But instead of dwelling on it, just think of it as, okay, remember, the longer you hold on to that water bottle, the more painful it's going to get for you, and not just you, for the rest of your people around you as well too. If you guys have kids, I don't have kids, right? But imagine if someone has kids and they go to work and they go to work, they have a boss, and the boss is giving them some crap and they're not happy and they're just like really, really upset. Imagine that same person, if they were not able to let everything go and they bring that negativity or that energy inside the household, would you guys want to be those kids have those the parents that come in and just release all their anger and emotions on you? Probably not, right? So that's what we're doing here too. So every single day we're being challenged, right? These obstacles, think of it as a gift. It might sound crazy, but think of it as a gift, because you're being gifted this opportunity to learn how to overcome these obstacles so that you can become the better person, so that you can be the role model for your kids or your trainees or the people that you look after or your organization, whatever the case may be, right? You have to lead by example. Now, it takes time, right? But again, just remember to let that water bottle go, all right? So that's conserving your energy. My mentor said, hey, that's probably more expensive than time and money right now, because your energy is only so much. You can always make more money, right? Time, yeah, you can buy yourself some time back as well too. I'm not gonna go into that, sector, but the thing is that energy is something that you have internally that everybody will have. Not everybody will have the amount of time to do everything. Not everybody will have the money to do everything. but everybody does have the energy to do everything, right? So conserve that energy, right? And anytime you notice something that's like sapping your energy, take a break. Literally, take a break, take a 15-minute walk, call somebody that you love, chat with them, see how they're doing, right? Just you want to break that cycle, because if not, you're going to continue being like, you're going to continue holding that water bottle, right? Do whatever it takes. I used to watch like cat videos, right? I used to watch cat videos. It's pretty funny stuff, right? So, but anyway, anything that can get your mind off, right? You just want to do something that's fun. Break the cycle, okay? All right, next thing. Looking at my notes over here. Strengthen your mentality, okay? Strengthen your mentality, okay? So there's a few things here. Do not overthink it. Do not overthink it. The Great Wall of China or the Roman Empire, these things were not built in just one day. People like to show like, on social media, they like to show this overnight success, but there's no such thing as overnight success. Overnight success is like about like an average of like 7 years in the making, right? The people that we see like building the Ubers or the Facebooks or whatever they're building, right? It's not like they just build it today and the next day it's up there, right? It's something that they did day in, day out when no one's watching over a course of many, years, let's say. And then they finally get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, now you're overnight success, right? So don't overthink it. Just think about the next action. Think of it as if you're climbing like up Mount Everest, or you're doing like rock climbing, right? When you're doing rock climbing, if you guys ever done rock climbing, the coach always tells you, don't focus on looking at the very, very top. That's scary. You're like, oh crap, that thing is just like way out of my reach, right? So don't psych yourself out. Always just think, put your hands and your feet on the next possible, like, whatever those things, the little mounts that come out, right? You just want to focus on your next step. What is your next step? So if Kyrie or Anthony, they're thinking, oh crap, how do I get to the next level all the way to the top over here? Don't think about that for now, right? Have that goal, but just focus on what the next steps are. And if you don't know what everybody should know what the next steps are. If not, then talk to your mentor, talk to your upline, let them know that, hey, this is what I'm focusing on. This is why we do a game plan interview. We want to know and help you, right? So that's why we have these game plan interviews, so we know what your goals are, and then we can help you hit them. But again, never think about the biggest thing. If you keep focusing on that, it's too much. Just focus on this little small things, little increments that you can do every single day. Hey, am I making all my calls? Hey, am I actually self-improving? Am I reading a book every day? Am I like listening to a podcast? Am I actually coming to trainings, right? So those of you guys that are doing that and actually actively listening, you guys are doing well, all right? And it's going to take time. It's going to take time to get to the next level, but that's okay. That's how we grow as human beings, all right? Think of it this way. Let me tell you a story. I love stories, right? So this is a story. Imagine this story. There's a kid, and I was told this before. There's a kid that, loves like playing with his toys and everything. And then one day he goes out, his mom was like saying, hey, go capture some caterpillars and let's grow them, right? Let's turn them into butterflies. So he got really excited. He's like, yeah, let's go. Goes to his garden, and then he sees a few insects, and he finds, a caterpillar. He finds this little like tiny caterpillar just crawling, and he got super excited. He's like, Mom, I found this caterpillar. That's awesome. And then mom's excited for him too. And the mom says, okay, let's bring him in. Let's like give him soil, let's give him some dirt, let's give him some grass, give him some food, or whatever caterpillar, whatever things they eat. And so the boy was very excited. Every single day, he was watching his little caterpillar getting bigger and bigger, right? He's awesome. He's like, man, this is so cool. And then one day, he sees that the caterpillar is like all the way up on top of the, they had like a little jar, whatever it is, right? Cage, whatever. So it was like dangling on the very, very top. Like, let's just say there's a screen. So he's dangling on the very top. And then the kid is like, Mom, hey, look, what's happening to my caterpillar? It's doing this little like web thing, and it's wrapping itself up. Like, I don't know what's happening. The mom's like, oh, don't worry, son. That's just that's part of the metamorphosis phase. your little friend there is just like, developing itself, right? This is what we call a cocoon. So then the boy's like, oh, that's awesome, a cocoon. But what happened to my caterpillar? And she's like, oh, don't worry. It's changing. Thank you, Johnny. It's changing. Don't worry. It's just like we're growing up, just like how like mommy is a mom now. We were also kids just like you, right? We're growing. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then she said, just make sure you just leave it alone. Just give it enough sunlight. Make sure that it's, staying cool. And so the boy was still pretty excited. But it took him about like, 3 or 4 days later, and he noticed that there's nothing changing about this caterpillar. He's about this cocoon that the caterpillar was in, right? So he's like, oh man, this sucks. Like what happened to my caterpillar is and I know my mom told me that it's growing, but I see that it's struggling. It looks like it's wiggling or whatever. Like it looks like it's struggling. That's not good. I don't want my friend to struggle. That's terrible. Like it looks like it just wants to get out, So it's, what? I don't know what to do. Like, and then he sees this little like, scalpel or whatever, like this little knife thing, right? And he says, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do something. I'm gonna go ahead and help my friend out there. So he gets the scalpel and then he cuts open the cocoon. And guess what? Happens? Put in a chat. Guess what happens? He cuts open the cocoon. Caterpillar is still not ready yet. So guess what happens? It dies. Yes, it dies. And why do I share this story? Well, because it's this, guys. Everything happens. I like to believe that everything happens for a reason, right? Whatever that is that you guys believe or whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? Whether it's fate, whether it's a religion, whatever the case may be. But the thing is this, I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, right? And if you try to like speed up the process unnaturally, right? I'm not saying like, don't get better and better and strive to like, do more work so you can move up faster, right? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes there are things that we cannot control, like that caterpillar. The caterpillar needs to, eat everything up and then put itself into a cocoon, and then its body is changing. It's metamorphosizing, whatever the case may be, right? And it's everything about that caterpillar is changing so that eventually the caterpillar is, strong enough where the butterfly breaks out because its wings is pushing out the cocoon. Right? Think about that. So imagine you're that butterfly. Yes, the web that's holding you, the cocoon that's holding you, that's meant to be there. It's meant to support you, because if your wings aren't strong enough to break that out and come out like a butterfly would be, that's just how it is, right? You want to make sure that you are able to develop a strong enough like mentality. So the wings in that metaphor would be like your student mentality, your ability to learn new skills, your like, mindset and all these, your attitude, all these different things, right? That's what's happening. We are all like, butterflies in the making, right? But if we try to unnaturally try to like do things that we're not ready yet, right? Stuff like that can happen, right? So just make sure, just understand that analogy. That was so powerful. Like, yes, we want to help people, but sometimes you just want to let them struggle too, because they have to go through it. It's like a mentor or like your mom or dad, like wanting you to learn how to do certain things, but they can't do it for you. Because if they do it for you, guess what happens? Do you actually learn anything if they do everything for you? No, you don't. You don't learn anything, right? You're just like, oh, like mom and dad helped me do this, or hey, JC helped me take care of this, or Brenda helped me take care of that, which is great. It's good to have that support, but again, you're not developing, right? So just remember that the caterpillar and the butterfly thing, right? Okay. How many of you guys like that story? Put a 1 in the chat or something. Just let me know that I'm doing a good job, right? So if you guys like that story, put a 1 or something. All right. A few people. Awesome. Okay. I got more stories to share, but anyway. Okay, so back to the strengthening your mentality thing, right? So don't overthink it. Make sure that you feed your mind with positivity. Feed your mind with positivity. That's huge. If you constantly, here's the thing. One of my mentors always told me that, hey, like the news is bad. The news always talked about like, death or like, natural disasters or like all these other, things that's happening in the world. because they want you to feel like you're in a state where it's a danger zone. It's always dangerous stuff out there, right? They never talk about too much about like all the good stuff, or maybe they do sometimes. It's like 80-20. 80% of the time is all this bad stuff that happens, right? And then 20% is some like, good stuff happening locally, right? So then make sure that you don't subscribe to that type of mindset, because think of it this way. JC talked about this as well too, but there's a subconscious mind and then a conscious mind and then a subconscious mind, right? Write this down. Actually, let me show you this. Let me go back to my paint, do a new one here. New. Okay, so imagine this. Let's just say this is everybody seeing this? Yes? Okay, cool. So let's just divide this in half, right? Let's just say this is the conscious mind. I can't write it with my, mouse. And let's just say this is the subconscious mind, right? Okay, imagine this. Anything, this is our brain, let's just say, anything that comes over here, right? We can either accept, it, or we can reject it. Right? Let's just say, hey, if I told somebody, hey, Don, did you know that the sky is actually orange, or the sky is actually yellow, it's not blue? And she can either choose to accept that or reject it, whatever the case may be, right? It doesn't have to be the sky or whatever, but consciously we are able to reject and accept ideas, right? New learnings or teachings or whatever. But here's the thing. Once we accept certain things, it gets into our conscious, right? We accept whatever the world tells us it is, right? Or we believe it to be. And then once it gets into the subconscious mind at this level, you can only accept everything. There's no rejection button. It's only acceptance. So this could be a good thing. It can also be a very bad thing, right? What if you lived your entire life thinking that, hey, where I'm at right now, there's no way out, and I can't get better. Like Oprah Winfrey, have you guys ever like listened to her stories, or some of these people that, came from very humbling backgrounds? Most of them were not supposed to like succeed. Most of them were supposed to like, not do well, right? But the thing is this. Your subconscious is something that you cannot control. So be very, very careful about what you see on the surface, right? Because what you see on the surface and what you tell your mind and what you choose, again, this is a choice, right? We have a choice here. What you choose to accept is going to eventually seep into your subconscious mind. And at that point, it just becomes only thing that you can accept. You cannot change that. It's going to take many, 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 years and whatnot to actually change that, right? So just pay attention to this. The things that you're learning, is this something that's going to actually serve me? And just be open, right? Having an open mind is you change your entire paradigm. Because when you change your mindset and you change the way that you actually think, and you change the idea that, hey, I can be that person up there on stage. I can be that person that's going to change the world. I can be that person that's going to lead a lot of people. I can be the person that's going to make the rest of my family trajectory have a different path. Well, guess what? You're choosing at that moment to believe that you can do all these things. Very, very powerful. As a kid, for example, imagine you're a kid. You're a kid, the mom and dad is going to teach you whatever they want you to learn, right? And you have no choice to accept it until you get to a higher, age where you can finally think for yourself, right? But imagine that. If our brain is just like an infant and we get to feed it whatever we want to feed it, do you want to feed it positivity or do you want to feed it negativity? Right? The person who is the most positive typically comes out on top. The person that is more positive typically comes out on top. Say, for example, we're a football team here, okay? You have a football team and I have a football team. Let's just see team A and team B. Let's just say if team A, they're like, oh man, we're playing against team B. They're the champions for the last 2 years and 3 years in a row, whatever it is. We barely made it to the finals. As crazy as it is, I don't know if we can actually win. Like they seem like they're very strong people. I feel like we're just gonna get trucked over and ran over in the field. Imagine if that's like the team or like the coach like telling the rest of the team, like, hey, we're playing against the big dogs here. You know, they're the #1 seed, and we're just like number 8, whatever. Like we barely made it. It's good that we made it thus far, right? So that's team A. And then team B, you say, hey man, we're gonna crush it out there. Okay, guess what? We made it to the finals yet again. We're gonna go out there and dominate. We're just gonna go and kick some butt, have a great time, but make sure that we're just gonna go out there to absolutely claim our trophies. Absolutely go out there to destroy our competitors. Who do you think is gonna actually win? Right? It's the ones that have that belief system. I would always bet the guy or the girl that says, hey, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna go up there and do things versus the guy or girl that says, I don't know if I can do this. And again, that's all based on your, your consciousness. You can choose to be that person. I never thought I was gonna go up there, go walk on stage and get like, my trophies and stuff. And back in my previous, career, I never thought I was gonna, do the all the trainings and stuff like that when I was like 10 years prior, right? But when I came in here, I had the goal and the intention of coming out here to, do introductions, talk to people, network with people, and eventually lead a group, right? Anybody can do that. You don't have to be special. I was not special, right? JC wasn't special. But what was special about us is here in our heads. We thought, we envisioned ourselves that we can actually do this, right? We saw ourselves be able to do all these crazy things, and that's how we were able to make it. So I implore you guys to think about that. Like anybody could be anyone, right? And JC always said this, it takes 5 years to make life fair. It takes on average 5 years to make life fair, guys. That's not a lot of, that's not a lot of time. If you can say, if everybody here was given a choice to say, hey, in 5 years, you can have the life, you can have the residual income, you can have the family, you can have the trips or whatever it is that you want, right? That you desire, you can have that. All you got to do is just commit and work really hard and have an amazing attitude and positivity for the next 5 years. I bet you that if that was guaranteed, right? Which, it can be based on your subconscious and your conscious level, right? That anybody would take that. Everybody will take that in a heartbeat, say, okay, cool, yeah, I can do that. But the thing is this, after 2 days, after a week, after 2 months or whatever, how many people give up? A lot of people, right? So the fact that you guys are still here, let's just say this, let's just say a year from now, ask yourself this, a year from now, will I still be here? Will I still be having the same energy that I had today compared to where I would be in a year from now? And if you can honestly say, yes, I will be there, then your chances of succeeding is going to be a lot higher. You're team B instead of team A now. Team B, the one that says, hey, I'm going to win. I'm going to be the champion. I'm going to crush the other team and all that stuff, right? The football team I'm talking about here. You're going to be that. So just ask yourself that for a second, right? Think about that. Cool. Again, people do things that most people won't want to do. I recently did, back in maybe 2 months ago, I did the 75 hard, but with the program that Andy Frisella has. How many of you guys know about that program? 75 hard. So Francisco, a few people. Okay. 75 hard. You should look that up. It's pretty good. It's supposed to be a mentality training where it's, so Andy Frisella, this guy, he's worth a couple of millions of dollars. I don't know how much he's worth now, right? Worth a lot. But he had this program where for 75 days, you're supposed to do a certain routine, right? You're supposed to drink 1 gallon of water a day. You're supposed to read, a book for 10 pages a day, take a selfie of your progress a day, do 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each, right? One of them has to be outside, and then some other stuff, right? So then there's so many different things. But anyway, I started that program for maybe 15 people in my group, 15 of us. Okay. Oh yeah, and no alcohol, and you have to follow a diet, and there's all these different things. But anyway, after the 3rd day, about half of them dropped off. And these are people who are very motivated. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, or we're going to do this together. Okay. Well, okay, guess what? 3 days later, there's only about 7 or 8 of us. Then a week later, it went down to 5. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, there was only 4 people. Anyway, by the end of the 75 days, only 2 people finished it. It was me and this other dude, right? out of 15 people that said that we're all gonna do this. 2 out of 15. Right? So again, was it easy? No, it was not easy. It was difficult, right? And I failed a few times and I went back again. But the thing is this, don't give up. Do not give up on yourself. Right? That's the hardest thing. Like, I used to be like this person that was like, again, negative, right? I didn't think that I was gonna do well. I didn't think that I was gonna be able to do all these things that I envisioned myself, right? Very long time ago. But luckily, I had some really great mentors, and I looked up to them. Like many of us look up to like the leadership that we have in this team that we have. They're just regular people, but they paid their dues. They put in the time. They continue to learn. They learn just like what we're doing right now. They sat on Zoom calls, or at that time they sat in actual buildings. Like they could even sit in their Zoom call. They actually physically had to drive there or get to the office and get these trainings. And now we're able to just do that from like sitting down in our butts in our seat and just listening on Zoom, right? So think about that. We have to pay the dues. Once it's paid, then you'll get your purchase. So ask yourself, am I willing to pay the dues right now? Right? Because I'll tell you this, and JC said this is the best. It's like 5 years from now, are we going to get more energetic, or are we going to get, are we going to have more energy? Like, yeah, you could, right? You can take supplements and work out and stuff like that. But realistically, we're all aging. We're all getting older. And I don't want to sound pessimistic here, but that's truth, right? Every single day, we're getting closer to the final date. Let's just be real, right? One day, like we're not going to be here anymore. So the question is, if you actually realize that, what are you willing to accomplish, and what are some things that you really want to, get before your time expires? We talked about, hey, these are the dreams. These are the things that we want to do for our family. These are the things that I want to be able to accomplish. Right? We all have these dreams, but like, are we making the sacrifices? Are we making the conscious effort to continue to grow and improve ourselves, right? So that's very important. Remember, like, your energy is very important, so conserve that, but also be wise and keep on learning, keep on growing. And don't rely on the Zoom calls like this. Don't rely on these trainings. Like, go and do your own research. Go ahead and, YouTube stuff. Go ahead and listen to some podcasts, like improve yourself, right? Because again, all this information that you're capturing consciously, you're accepting right now, you can always reject it. You can say, hey, no, you're just full of crap, Calvin. Like, I don't believe any of the stuff you say. That's not my choice, right? You get to choose whatever you want to believe in. But again, once you choose that over and over again, it subconsciously it seeps into your subconscious mind. And at that point, it's very difficult to change, right? Okay. Got 5 minutes left. So I'll talk about let's see here. I think I pretty much have everything here. Last thing I wanted to say is this. Look, guys, just make sure you guys are having fun. Whatever that you guys do, just make sure that you are having fun. Life is too short to not have fun, right? Whatever it is that you're doing. Like this one show that this cartoon or whatever, Mary Poppins, one of my mentors always talk about it. Hey, it's one of the greatest shows about like this lady who's just, while she's cleaning her room or doing the dishes, whatever, she's just singing and just super happy and all that stuff, right? Be that person, be that happy person. We always say that, hey, there's 2 types of people in this world. There is a Tigger, and there is a Eeyore, right? You guys know who Eeyore and Tigger? Don is like, yeah, I know that one, right? And there's a Tigger and Eeyore. Now, I used to be that Eeyore. I used to be that person that nobody wants to invite to go to parties or whatever, right? Because I was just always negative, right? That was me. I like, swear to God, that's literally what I was before, right? And then until I saw other people choosing to be happy. You can always choose to be happy. Right? Now, I'm not saying that everything is going to be like rainbows and sunshines and everything. Like, there's going to be negative things that will happen, but you get to choose whether every single day you're the Tigger that bounces around, like, rejections doesn't even matter, on to the next door, right? Bounce to the next one. Okay, this one says no. Okay, bounce to the next one. I'm super happy, right? Guess what? More people would want to work with Tigger versus with Eeyore. right? So if you're that Eeyore right now, right? If you're that Eeyore right now, you can change, right? The way that you do that is to always have fun, right? It's not too serious, guys. People, you guys ever meet somebody, like you go to like a club or you go to like a party, you go to like a networking event, and there's just one guy or girl that has this like, like serious face. We call that the resting, B face, right? You're like, oh man, that's you don't want to be that person. I used to be that person. Right? So change the way you think. Just tell yourself that everything is going to be all right. And if it's not, doesn't matter. Like next day is going to get better. And then the next day is going to get even better. And if you have that mentality and you have that mindset over a course of period of time, we will all become that butterfly that, okay, we're strong enough now. Our wings are finally able to withstand, certain forces that are pressing us because we develop ourselves, right? We're all caterpillars, but we're now butterflies. We got to this point because we trust in the process and we continue to learn and grow every single day. So that's my message to you guys. Okay. Sing like a bee. Yes. Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. If you guys have questions, let me know. But I'm so honored and grateful to be here, guys. It's amazing just to be able to have a room and an outlet to share. Would love to meet some of you guys in the launch event that's going to come, that they're going to announce in like August. So I'm super excited about it. Just want to make some friends and get to know more people. So just remember this, guys. What we're doing here, what we're building is something extraordinary. Use that excitement, use that enthusiasm, use that positivity to go out there and change the world. But again, the first thing that you need to change is your own world, right? You need to change your own world. And it only happens by you choosing to change that world. Cool? All right, that's it, guys. I will see you guys.
Awesome job.
Yeah.
Great training, Calvin.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you,
Great.
Calvin.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Calvin.
Thank you, Calvin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin.
Calvin.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great week, team.
All right,
Calvin, to your point, we have the location, we have the date that will be announced tomorrow. Venue has been booked for the launch event. We've got the name for the launch event. It's already been paid. We've got the date. Everything is set. So the latest tomorrow, we will be announcing that. So you all can book your reservations, book your trips. Those of you guys that are coming from far away. Exciting stuff. But Calvin, amazing job, as I knew that it would be. So stay tuned, everybody. The Millionaire Mentorship Call tonight. We might announce it tonight in the Millionaire Mentorship Call. At the latest tomorrow, we will have a flyer. We will have the venue. We will have the links, everything that you guys need. So appreciate everybody. I'll see you guys at the sales meeting right now. And again, Calvin, amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys. Have a good one.
See you, Calvin. Bye.
Thank you, Calvin. Bye.
Thank you.